The sterile smell of antiseptic fills my nostrils as I slowly open my eyes, the world coming into a hazy focus. The steady beeping of the heart monitor and the gentle hum of the hospital equipment remind me where I am. I try to sit up, but a sharp pain in my head forces me back down. "Hey, take it easy," a soft voice says, and I turn my head to see a woman sitting by my bedside. Her eyes are red-rimmed with worry, but she smiles when she sees me awake. Who are you?" I manage to croak out, my throat dry and voice barely above a whisper. "It's me, Emma, your wife," she replies, her voice breaking a little. "You've been in an accident, John. Do you remember anything?" I shake my head, wincing as the motion sends another wave of pain through my skull. "No, I don't remember." Emma squeezes my hand, her eyes filling with tears. "It's okay. The doctors said there might be some memory loss. But I'm here, and we're going to get through this together." Over the next few weeks, Emma never leaves my side. She helps me with everything, from eating to walking again. Her patience is endless, her love palpable. Slowly, bits and pieces of my life start to come back, but there are still large gaps, especially around the time of the accident. One evening, while Emma is out getting us dinner, I find myself restless. I start rummaging through the drawer of the small bedside table, hoping to find something that might jog my memory. My fingers brush against something soft, and I pull out a small, leather-bound notebook. It looks old, the edges worn from use. Curiosity piqued, I open it. The handwriting inside is mine, but the entries are chaotic, as if written in a state of distress. One entry catches my eye. March 15th, she's cheating on me. I confronted her today, showed her the video. She denied it, but I saw it with my own eyes. I don't know what to do. I love her, but how can I trust her now? My heart races as I read the words. Is this about Emma? My sweet, supportive wife who has been my rock through this entire ordeal? I flip through more pages, each one filled with my anguished thoughts and suspicions. The last entry is dated the day of my accident. March 20th, she begged me not to leave, swore it was a mistake. I don't know what to believe anymore. I need to clear my head. Going for a drive to think. The words blur as tears fill my eyes. Could it be true? Did Emma really cheat on me? The door opens, and Emma walks in, carrying a takeout bag. "Hey, I got your favorite, Thai noodles," she says with a smile, but her smile falters when she sees my face. "John? What's wrong?" I hold up the notebook. "What is this, Emma?" Her eyes widen, and she sets the bag down, her hands trembling. "Where did you find that?" "In the drawer," I say, my voice shaking. "Is it true? Did you cheat on me?" Emma's face crumples, and she starts to cry. "John, please, it's not what you think. I made a mistake, but it didn't mean anything. I love you. I never wanted to hurt you." I feel a wave of nausea. Everything I thought I knew, everything she has done for me since the accident, feels like a lie. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I wanted to," she sobs. "But then the accident happened, and you didn't remember. I hoped we could move past it." I stand up, the pain in my head forgotten in my anger. "Move past it? How can we move past this when I don't even know who you are anymore?" Emma reaches out to me, but I step back. "John, please, I love you. I was scared of losing you." "You already lost me," I say coldly. "I want you out of this house. We're done." Her face crumples in despair, but she nods, realizing there's no point in arguing. She packs a few things and leaves, her sobs echoing through the empty house. I sit down, the reality of what just happened sinking in. I loved her, and she betrayed me. Now I'm alone, with only my fragmented memories and the painful truth to keep me company. The path ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the woman I thought was my rock has crumbled, and I have to find a way to rebuild my life from the ruins she left behind. The days after Emma left blur together in a haze of anger and confusion. My head throbs constantly, not just from the injury, but from the relentless barrage of memories and emotions that threaten to overwhelm me. I spend most of my time staring at the walls of the house that once felt like a home. It now seems like a museum of a life that no longer exists. One morning, the doorbell rings, pulling me out of my stupor. I open the door to find my best friend, Mark, standing there, concern etched on his face. "John, I heard about Emma. Are you okay?" Mark asks, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. "I don't know," I admit, collapsing onto the couch. "I don't know what's real anymore." Mark sits beside me, his expression serious. "Tell me everything." I hand him the notebook. As he reads through it, his face darkens. "Jesus, John. I had no idea. I thought you two were solid." "So did I say bitterly. But I can't trust my own memories. How do I know what really happened?" Mark leans back, deep in thought. "You need to talk to someone who can help piece this together. Have you considered seeing a therapist?" I shake my head. I don't even know where to start. "I know someone," Mark says, his voice firm. "Dr. Collins. She specializes in memory loss and trauma. I'll make an appointment for you." Reluctantly, I agree. A few days later, I find myself sitting in Dr. Collins's office, a warm, inviting space filled with soft lighting and comfortable furniture. She's a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a soothing presence. "John, it's good to meet you," she says, her voice calm and steady. "Mark has told me a bit about your situation. How are you feeling?" Confused, I reply honestly. "I don't know what to believe." Dr. Collins nods. "That's understandable. Memory loss can be incredibly disorienting. We'll work through this together, step by step. Can you tell me about the accident?" I recount what little I remember, and Dr. Collins listens intently, occasionally jotting down notes. When I finish, she leans forward. "John, trauma can affect memory in complex ways. Sometimes, the brain blocks out painful experiences to protect us. Other times, it distorts them. We need to approach this carefully." Over the next few weeks, I see Dr. Collins regularly. We delve into my memories, slowly and cautiously. She teaches me techniques to manage my anxiety and helps me confront the fragmented images and emotions that surface. One evening, after an especially draining session, I return home to find a letter slipped under my door. There's no return address, and the handwriting is unfamiliar. I tear it open and read the brief message inside. "You don't know the whole truth. Meet me at the Old Pier tomorrow at midnight. Come alone." My heart races. Who could this be? Is it someone who knows about Emma? Or is it a cruel joke? I decide to go, desperate for answers. The next night, I drive to the Old Pier, the cool night air whipping around me as I step out of the car. The pier is deserted, illuminated only by the moonlight reflecting off the water. I walk cautiously, my footsteps echoing on the wooden planks. "John," a voice calls out from the shadows. I turn to see a figure step into the light. It's a woman, her face partially obscured by a hood. "Who are you?" I ask, my voice trembling. "Someone who knows what really happened," she replies. "My name is Lisa. I worked with Emma. We were friends, once." "What do you mean, once?" I ask, my suspicion growing. "Emma changed," Lisa says, her voice tinged with sadness. "She got involved with someone at work. I tried to warn her, but she wouldn't listen. Then she started acting strange, paranoid. I think she was being blackmailed." "Blackmailed?" I repeat, stunned. "By who?" Lisa shakes her head. "I don't know. But I have a feeling it's connected to your accident. You need to be careful, John. There are things you don't understand yet." I take a deep breath, trying to process her words. "Why are you telling me this?" Because you deserve to know the truth, Lisa says, stepping closer. And because I owe it to Emma, despite everything. I'll help you find out what really happened. Meet me here again tomorrow night. We'll talk more. As Lisa turns to leave, I feel a mix of hope and dread. The truth seems closer yet more elusive than ever. I watch her disappear into the darkness, the question swirling in my mind. If Emma was being blackmailed, who was behind it? And how does it connect to my accident? The next day feels endless as I wait for night to fall. I replay Lisa's words over and over, trying to piece together the puzzle of my shattered life. When the time finally comes, I head back to the PA, determined to uncover the truth. Lisa is already there, waiting. This time, she looks more determined, her eyes sharp and focused. I did some digging, she says, handing me a folder. These are emails between Emma and someone named Var. I think he's the one who was blackmailing her. I open the folder and scan the emails, my anger and confusion mounting. Why didn't she tell me? I ask, my voice breaking. She was scared, Lisa replies softly. Scared of losing you, of what OR might do. But now you need to be strong, John. We need to find out who this R is and why he targeted Emma. As we talk, a plan begins to form. I'll go through Emma's things, looking for any clues about R. Lisa will keep digging on her end. We're determined to get to the bottom of this, no matter what it takes. As I drive home, my mind races with possibilities. The betrayal I felt is now mixed with a burning need for answers. Emma's infidelity is just one piece of a larger, darker puzzle. And I won't rest until I have the full picture. The next chapter of my life is beginning, and I can feel the stakes rising. With Lisa's help, I'm ready to confront the shadows of my past and uncover the truth about the accident that changed everything. The morning sun streams through the windows as I sit at the kitchen table, the folder Lisa gave me spread out before me. The emails between Emma and I are cryptic but unmistakably threatening. Phrases like "I know what you did and you'll lose everything" leap off the page, making my blood run cold. I need answers, and I need them now. I decide to start with Emma's laptop. It's been gathering dust in her study, a room I've avoided since the accident. I open the door, and the familiar scent of her perfume hits me, triggering a wave of emotions. Pushing them aside, I power on the laptop and begin my search. Hours pass as I sift through emails, files, and browsing history. Nothing stands out until I find a hidden folder labeled Personal. Inside are more emails with R and several photos of Emma with a man I don't recognize. My heart pounds as I realize these must be the photos R used to blackmail her. I print everything out and call Mark. He arrives within the hour, concern etched on his face. "John, what's going on? You sounded urgent." "I found more emails," I say, handing him the new evidence. "And photos. Emma was being blackmailed, and I think this R is behind everything." Mark studies the documents, his expression growing darker. "This is serious, John. We need to find out who this guy is. Any idea where to start?" "Lisa is digging on her end," I reply. "But I think we should talk to Emma's colleagues. Maybe they know something." We head to Emma's workplace, a sleek office building downtown. The receptionist eyes us warily as we approach. "Can I help you?" "I'm John, Emma's husband," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. "We need to speak to her colleagues. It's important." After a tense few minutes, we're directed to a conference room where a few of Emma's co-workers wait, curiosity and concern on their faces. Lisa is among them, giving me a nod of encouragement. "Thank you for meeting with us," I begin. "I know this is unusual, but we need your help. Emma was being blackmailed, and we believe it's connected to my accident." A murmur of shock ripples through the group. One of the men, a tall, serious-looking guy named Tom, speaks up. "Emma mentioned she was having trouble with someone, but she didn't give details. She seemed scared." Another colleague, a woman named Sarah, adds she was always checking her phone, looking stressed. I thought it was just work pressure. Lisa steps forward, her expression determined. We need to find out who R is. Did any of you notice anyone suspicious around Emma? Anyone she seemed particularly worried about? There's a pause, then Tom says, there was this guy, Roger. He used to work here but left a few months ago. Emma seemed relieved when he was gone. Maybe he's R. Mark and I exchange a glance. It's not much, but it's a lead. We thank Emma's co-workers and head back to my place to regroup. Back home, Mark pulls out his laptop and starts searching for information on Roger. Here we go, he says after a few minutes. Roger Hastings. He worked at Emma's firm for 2 years before leaving abruptly. No reason listed. Do you think he's our guy? I ask, feeling a mix of hope and dread. Only one way to find out, Mark replies. We need to track him down and confront him. The next day, Mark and I drive to Roger's last known address, a run-down apartment complex on the edge of town. The place looks deserted, but we knock on the door of his unit anyway. No answer. Let's try the landlord, Mark suggests. The landlord, a grizzled old man named Hank, is surprisingly helpful. Roger? Yeah, he moved out a while back. Left no forwarding address. But he still gets mail here sometimes. Can we see it? I ask, trying to keep my desperation in check. Hank eyes us suspiciously but finally nods. I suppose it can't hurt. Wait here. He returns with a small stack of letters. I sift through them, finding one from a local gym. It's addressed to Roger and includes a membership card. This might be our best bet, I say, showing it to Mark. The gym is a few miles away. We head there, hoping for a break. The receptionist confirms that Roger is a member but hasn't been in for a few days. She offers to call him for us. To our surprise, Roger answers. Yeah, I'll be there in an hour, she says, hanging up. He's coming. We wait in the gym's cafe, nerves on edge. An hour later, a tall, thin man with a nervous demeanor walks in. It's Roger. He looks around, spots us, and hesitates. Roger? I call out, standing up. We need to talk. He looks like he might bolt, but then he nods and approaches. Who are you? I'm John, Emma's husband, I say, watching his reaction closely. We know about the blackmail. Roger pales, his eyes darting around. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Then tell us everything, Mark says, stepping forward. Now. Roger slumps into a chair, defeated. It started as a stupid prank, but then I found out about her affair. I needed money, so I threatened to tell you unless she paid me. Who's the guy? I ask, my anger barely contained. Some guy from another firm. I don't know his name, Roger replies, looking genuinely remorseful. I never meant for anyone to get hurt. What about the accident? Mark presses. Were you involved? Roger shakes his head vehemently. No, I swear. I had nothing to do with that. I just wanted the money. I lean back, trying to process everything. Roger's involvement explains the blackmail, but not the accident. We need to find this other guy, I say. And figure out what really happened. Roger gives us the contact information for his former colleagues who might know more about Emma's affair. We leave the gym, feeling a mix of frustration and determination. Back at my place, Lisa calls with an update. I found out more about Emma's affair. The guy's name is David Marks. He's married, too. I think you should talk to his wife. The next day, we track down David's wife, Claire. She agrees to meet us at a cafe, her face drawn and tired. I know about the affair, she says quietly. David confessed after your accident. He said Emma was scared of someone, but he didn't know who. Do you think David could be involved in the accident? I ask. Claire shakes her head. I don't know. He's been acting strange, but he denies any involvement. I'm sorry, I can't help more. As we leave the cafe, I feel a sinking sense of despair. The pieces of the puzzle are scattered and incomplete. Emma's betrayal, the blackmail, the accident, it's all connected, but how? That night, as I lie in bed, I replay everything in my mind. There's one thing I haven't tried yet: hypnosis. Dr. Collins mentioned it as a possibility to recover lost memories. Desperate for answers, I decide to give it a shot. The next day, I make an appointment with Dr. Collins. I want to try hypnosis, I tell her. I need to remember what happened. She agrees, and soon I'm lying on her couch, focusing on her soothing voice. Slowly, I feel myself drifting, the world around me fading as buried memories surface. I'm driving, I whisper, the images coming into focus. I'm angry, so angry. I need to clear my head. What happens next, John? Dr. Collins asks gently. There's a car following me, I continue, my heart pounding. I try to lose it, but it speeds up. I see a face, a man. Can you see his face clearly? She prompts. It's David, I say, the realization hitting me like a punch. He's ramming my car. I lose control, crash. The memory floods back, vivid and terrifying. I open my eyes, gasping for breath. It was David. He caused the accident. Dr. Collins looks at me, her expression grave. You need to go to the police, John. This is serious. I nod, feeling a mix of relief and fear. The truth is finally within reach, but confronting it will be dangerous. With Mark and Lisa by my side, I head to the police station, ready to expose David and uncover the full story behind the accident that shattered my life. The police station buzzes with activity as I step inside, flanked by Mark and Lisa. My hands are shaking, but I force myself to stay calm. Detective Martinez, a stern-looking woman with piercing eyes, meets us in a small interview room. What can I do for you, Mr. Halloway? She asks, her tone professional but curious. I take a deep breath and begin to explain everything: the accident, the blackmail, and the recent revelation about David Marks. Detective Martinez listens intently, occasionally asking questions to clarify details. When I finish, she leans back in her chair, considering. This is quite a story, she says finally. We'll need to bring Mr. Marks in for questioning. In the meantime, I'd advise you to be careful. If he's responsible for the accident, he might be dangerous. Mark and Lisa exchange worried glances, but I nod resolutely. I understand. Just, please, find out the truth. The next few days are a whirlwind of tension and anticipation. I try to go about my life, but the constant anxiety gnaws at me. Mark stays close, a steady presence that helps keep me grounded. Lisa continues her own investigation, determined to uncover every last detail. One evening, I get a call from Detective Martinez. We've brought David Marks in for questioning, she says. Can you come down to the station? Mark drives me, the silence between us heavy with unspoken fears. At the station, Detective Martinez meets us, her expression unreadable. Mr. Marks is denying everything, she says. But we've found some inconsistencies in his alibi. We need you to identify him in a lineup. I nod, my heart pounding. In the lineup room, I watch as 5 men step forward, David among them. Seeing his face again brings a rush of memories and emotions. I point him out, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me. That's him. He's the one. David glares at me, but I hold his gaze, refusing to be intimidated. Detective Martinez thanks me and escorts me back to the waiting area. We're going to keep him in custody for now, she says. But we need more evidence to make a solid case. As we leave the station, Lisa calls with an urgent tone in her voice. John, you need to come to my place. I found something important. Mark and I drive to Lisa's apartment, where she greets us with a mix of excitement and concern. "I hacked into David's email," she says, holding up her laptop. "I found messages between him and someone named Var. They were planning something big, and I think it involves you." I read through the emails, my anger and disbelief growing with each word. It becomes clear that David and Roger were working together, orchestrating both the blackmail and the accident. But there's more, references to another person, someone orchestrating everything from the shadows. "I think there's a third person involved," I say, my mind racing. "Someone we haven't considered." Lisa nods. "I thought the same thing. We need to figure out who R really is." The realization hits me like a punch. Roger? It was right in front of us. But Roger claimed he was just following orders, Mark points out. "Who's giving the orders?" Suddenly, a memory flashes in my mind, Emma, nervously glancing at her phone, arguing with someone on the other end. Emma knew, I say slowly. She knew who Art was. We need to find her. Lisa pulls up Emma's last known location on her phone. She's staying at a motel on the outskirts of town. "Let's go." The drive feels interminable, the tension in the car palpable. When we arrive at the motel, I spot Emma's car parked outside one of the rooms. I knock on the door, my heart in my throat. Emma opens the door, her face pale and drawn. "John, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk," I say, pushing past her into the room. "About everything." She closes the door and faces me, her eyes filled with fear. "What do you mean?" "Roger?" "David." "The blackmail." "The accident," I say, my voice hard. "You knew about all of it." Emma collapses onto the bed, burying her face in her hands. "I didn't want you to find out like this." "Find out what?" I demand. "That you were cheating? That you were being blackmailed? Or that you were involved in my accident?" Tears stream down her face as she looks up at me. "I didn't want to cheat, John. I was scared. Roger threatened me. He said he'd ruin us if I didn't comply." "Why didn't you come to me?" I ask, my voice breaking. "We could have faced it together." "I was ashamed," she whispers. "And when the accident happened, I thought it was all my fault. I couldn't bear to tell you." "Who's the mastermind?" Lisa interjects, her voice sharp. "Who's Art really?" Emma's eyes widen with terror. "You don't understand. He's dangerous. He's always watching." "Who, Emma?" I shout, grabbing her shoulders. "Tell me." Before she can answer, the door bursts open, and Roger storms in, a gun in his hand. Nobody moves, he snarls, pointing the weapon at us. Mark steps in front of me, shielding me. "Roger, this ends now. Put the gun down." Roger laughs, a cold, manic sound. "You have no idea what you're dealing with. This is bigger than all of us." "Who are you working for?" I demand, my eyes locked on his. Roger's face twists with a mix of anger and fear. "You'll never know. He's untouchable." In a flash, Mark lunges at Roger, knocking the gun from his hand. They grapple on the floor, the gun skidding across the room. I dive for it, grabbing it and pointing it at Roger. "Stop!" I shout. "It's over." Roger freezes, his eyes wild. "You think you've won? You have no idea what's coming." The sound of sirens fills the air as the police arrive, bursting into the room and taking Roger into custody. Detective Martinez steps in, her eyes scanning the scene. "Everyone okay?" I nod, lowering the gun. "We're fine. But there's still someone out there." As Roger is led away, Emma collapses into sobs. "I'm so sorry, John. I never wanted this." I feel a surge of conflicting emotions, anger, betrayal, sadness. "It's too late, Emma. We're done." She looks up at me, her eyes filled with despair. I understand. I wish things were different. I turn away, unable to look at her. Me too. As the police finish their work, I stand with Mark and Lisa, the weight of everything settling on my shoulders. The truth is out, but the damage is done. Emma and I are finished, our lives shattered by deceit and betrayal. Lisa hugs me tightly. We'll get through this, John. Together. Mark claps me on the shoulder. You're stronger than you know. This isn't the end. I nod, feeling a glimmer of hope amidst the wreckage. The road ahead is uncertain, but I have friends who stand by me. As we leave the motel, I take one last look at Emma, knowing that our paths have diverged forever. The deception is revealed, and the main characters part ways, their lives forever changed by the shadows of the past. But as I step into the future, I carry the lessons learned and the strength to rebuild, knowing that the truth, however painful, has set me free.